How's it going, guys? It is Ryan and welcome to a brand new video where today we are back for the 2007 career mode at the home of British motorsport. It is of course Silverstone, driving as Ralf Schumacher as always in the Toyota, and we're jumping straight into our one lap qualifying shootout where basically we're only allowed to do one flying lap in the series in every round of the season, and we are here to start our one flat flying lap early stages as well, because the clean track, as I discovered that going a bit later didn't really help us, as you saw in America last time out. But we're here at Silverstone, one of my favourite tracks to drive on any of the F1 games. We're coming into the arena section of this track, a great flow of corners here into a slow hairpin which will lead us on to the Wellington Straight where the DRS would be enabled, but this is 2007 where it didn't even exist. So this is going to be a long straight then towards the back to the old layout we go, and into the old final corner we go as a 30.2, not a bad first sector from us as well. I forgot to mention we've got a Super Aguri ahead of us here, which could maybe hold us up in the early stages of this lap. So we need to see if we can get past him as quickly as possible. And as we come down the old pit straight towards Copse Corner, we go brake just before 50 metres there, drop it to 6th gear, hold it there, not to drop it any more gears. We get a bit of slipstream then from the car in front, which hopefully is going to pull out the way very shortly, as we see Alonso, the quickest man on the track, and it is fellow Englishman Anthony Davidson who will be very kind to let us through there. We have to lift off a little bit to avoid getting some dirty air there, as it's a 32.7 from Alonso, really under 3 tenths slower than Alonso at this stage. As we're going to be braking then into Stowe, they're dropping into 4th gear, holding it nicely there, missed the apex of the corner, bit of steering knock as well, too much there it seems. We brake into the final couple of corners then, into Vale, then Club Corner we go, and this is going to be a decent time to put us up the timing sheets. We've got to see us Raikkonen now as the pole sitter with a 32.6, we put a 33.7 and puts us provisionally in P4. Not where we wanted to be, but we have to take it on the chin there, and we actually finish outside the top 10, as you can see, with Hamilton getting pole position by 2 tenths second from Raikkonen, which is good for them, but we're down in 15th place, which is not what I wanted to have in this episode of our career mode. We've got a lot of work to do in this race to stand any chance of closing that gap to Kimi Raikkonen, and most importantly holding off Lewis Hamilton as well. But it's now time for the British Grand Prix. So we're here then at Silverstone for the British Grand Prix, and it is very overcast right now, so maybe, just maybe, there could be a bit of rain in the air, which is typical British weather for you. But we're getting into the car then, and for the first time this series we are doing a prime start. Yeah, that is right, because we're outside the top 10. We are not fixed to the tyre we set our fastest time in. And if you guys want me to try and do maybe a few races on the prime tyres to start with, let me know in the comments below of this video. But we are going to leave the garage then and start our mammoth task to try and score points and hopefully close the gap to Kimi Raikkonen, our rival in this series, with Lewis Hamilton aiming to win on his home patch, which will be great for the fans here at Silverstone and help him close the gap to myself and Kimi Raikkonen, as he would like to win the Drivers' Championship in his very first season in Formula 1. But the lights are on now here at Silverstone. The British Grand Prix here for the 2007 career mode is away, and we get a reasonable start off the line as we're now very close to Nico Rosberg in that Williams, as we're going to be going then into the fast-flowing Abbey for the first time. We break a bit later than Rosberg, but Rosberg holds the inside nicely. We go through village, we're side by side with the German, breaking into the arena section we go, and we've got to give a bit of space to Rosberg there, who gets a great entry there, as we've got Kubica checking up there for Kovalainen. We're going to go down the inside of both him and Wirtz, and I think that was that Kubica, I don't know what was going on there, but lots of action going on there. We've already gained up a few positions up to P11. We've got a teammate then ahead of us there, Jarno Trulli, as just a lot of action going on there. He breaks really early for Kovalainen. We're going to take that opportunity. Down the inside we go of our teammate, and we move up to 10th place. We're still 2 positions behind a points-paying position, and it's that Kimi Raikkonen that I can just see there in the Ferrari. I'm not too sure. Trulli's actually gone down the inside of us through Woodcut, and he moves up to P10, which is not what I wanted, because we need a championship to get on our tracks there. So Trulli's not helping us here, and actually Kubica's gone down the inside of us through the old Copse Corner, turn 1. and moved up to P11. So it's a bit of a poor start from us there. But do remember, guys, we are on the prime tyres, and everyone else most likely is on the options. So we will be slow on the first opening stint of this race, as our primes need to get up to temperature as quickly as possible, as we've got Mark Webber behind us then in the other Williams, I believe, or it could be in the Red Bull. I'm not too sure. I think it's the Red Bull he's in, but he's looking like to make a mover then into the last couple of corners. We go to start the second lap of this British Grand Prix, and look at the gap already. Kubica's got over us already. Just shows the option, the prime is 1.4 seconds already, so that's not what we wanted, but we have to take it on the chin anyway and see how we get on with this, as we've got a long way to go in this British Grand Prix. It's a 13 lap race, it's a long lap as well, and we need to see if we can close the gap to Kubica as quickly as possible there. But this track, as I mentioned, is one of my favourites to do on any F1 game in any season, mod or whatever, and that is the clarification that Webber is in the Red Bull, so I should have known that, but bit of a fail for me there. But we're onto lap 4, and we are starting to get a bit of grip then on these prime tyres, but the grip in Webber's tyres are even better, as we're going to be coming then down the way into straight into Brooklands. We go very wide there, braking really late in the corner, which will give Webber the chance to maybe get up to P11. But we hold the inside, but we go very wide on exit, which gives Webber the chance on the inside to maybe make a move on us then. Now it's a drag race down the old pit straight towards the old turn 1 of Copse. Are we going to hold on to position from Mark Webber? The question is yes. He has to lift off into turn 1 for some bizarre reason, and we hold off P12 nicely. But Webber has got a 4-car train behind him, which is not what I wanted. But we're going to go into that 5, and we can see Truly and the rest of the pack ahead of us are in the pit lane, making their only pit stop of the race, as Hamilton set to 1:33.7, showing the pace he's got in that McLaren and showing that he is in the hunt for that Drivers' World Championship. We've still got half the races to go yet, but he is still wanting to get the lead of the championship before the last race and put a lot of pressure on there. But from the pit stops, we're up to P6 at the minute, but obviously we've not made our pit stop yet, with Robert Kubica, the next man, ahead of us there as he's on the way into the straight. But we're still trying to hold off Mark Webber and co, which will be very interesting to see if that is the case. But we will move on to the next lap as the rest of the field pitted, and we are leading this race with Massa in provisionally P2, which is very interesting considering where Kimi Raikkonen is with all of this, because Raikkonen was up there in the qualifying. So I wonder what's happened to him in this. We've still got about a 15.9 second lead over Hamilton, but that will be gone completely as we make our only pit stop of the race, going on to the option tyres for the last 6 laps then. And Nick Heidfeld's in 4th, so this is massive actually for the championship if we can get some points off Raikkonen if he's retired, but that's not the question because he's still in the race. And Hamilton will retake the lead of the race as he's gone through, and also Felipe Massa will go through as well, and also Nick Heidfeld. So we're up to P4 at the minute, but the question is, are we going to gain any more positions? As Sebastian Vettel there in P4 will cross through, and David Coulthard will go through Kovalainen. Raikkonen's in 7th place, which is interesting. We're going to come out in 10th place, make that 11th, but we're going to try and go down the inside of Kubica into this corner. Just a little bit of contact there. We've got the fresher tyres and on the options as well. We'll hold it around the outside, it seems, but Kubica's not giving up yet, but has to give up, and we move up to P10. So very good actually from that pit stop, I've got to say, from the Toyota guys, as we've made a few positions from that once the pit stop window was gone. But look how close we are to the points paying positions. We're only a few seconds behind Fernando Alonso, who inherits that 8th place, the one solitary point. But even more interestingly, we can see Kimi Raikkonen as well, which is going to be massive. So if we pass him, we're going to crawl back some points on Raikkonen, and maybe, just maybe take the lead of the championship if we can get past through these guys as quickly as possible and get maybe a podium finish. Would be quite interesting. But we're going to get a bit of slipstream then from Giancarlo Fisichella. Fizzy-fan won't be happy for me if I pass him here. We're going to go around the outside of Brooklands, round the outside of Fisichella, and up to P9. So a great move there from us, as we're now got our sights on Fernando Alonso in that McLaren Mercedes, and we've also got Raikkonen just a few tenths ahead of Alonso. So this is going to be very spicy then, with only a few laps to go then. I don't think we're going to try and get a podium, but a top 5 is on the cards here, as the lead of that top 5 battle is not far ahead. So just maybe, with the grip of these options, as you can see, we're all over the back then now of Fernando Alonso in that McLaren. We just get a bit of dirty air there, but the slipstream will help us down the straight. There, as you can just hear, we're into rich mix now, plus 2 laps. We've got plenty of fuel to take us to the end of this race, and we're right on the back of that rear wing of Alonso. We just get a bit of dirty air again, pushing us a bit wide through Stowe, but we're going to try and go round the outside. It was Alonso tried to was checked up there by Raikkonen, who got checked up by his fellow Finnish driver of Kovalainen. As we're now into that slipstream, we've got Fisichella still behind us actually, so he could maybe think of a move, as we're only a 10th off our best time. We get a beautiful run through Abbey, through Village we go, nearly going to the back of Alonso, but we're going to try and go down the inside of Alonso, and we're up to P8 we go. A great move, and next up is the championship leader of Kimi Raikkonen in that Ferrari, as we're on to lap 10 then. Only 4 laps to go then of this British Grand Prix, and are we going to try and get past Raikkonen and gain points on him? That is what I really wanted to do in this, as we've got Kovalainen and David Coulthard, I think it is, ahead in P5, so P5 will be great for us here, as we've got getting a great exit there out of Luffield and Woodcote, as we're now coming towards the old pit straight once again for the 10th time in this race. And we get a nice bit of slipstream then, and a beautiful turn 1 there. Maybe a bit of grass will help, will hinder us in terms of grip through Maggers and Beckett's. That's going to be the big talking point. But the tyres are clean and crisp, as we're right on the back then of Raikkonen, who is still being held up by Heikki Kovalainen. So maybe they'll have a nice cheeky chat with each other and complain. Raikkonen complains, "Why would you not let me through, my friend? We're fellow Finnish drivers, you've got to respect each other." But we're going to maybe think of a move there on Raikkonen, but just nowhere to go on there. But we get a great exit then. And are we going to see a repeat of the last lap where Raikkonen got held up? And that is the answer to the question on there. He leaves the door open on the inside, we take the initiative, and we're up to P7. Next up is Heikki Kovalainen in the Renault. And as you can see, we've already put a half a second gap on Raikkonen already. So Raikkonen's struggling on his tyres, it seems. We've got a beautiful run through Abbey, and we're going to try and get past Kovalainen into the hairpin, into the arena section we go, and we do so just about in the track, and we're up to P6 with the next man being David Coulthard in the Red Bull, and we get a beautiful slipstream again. Bit wide on exit there, which will hinder us a little bit, but we're into that slipstream. Look, we're closing in ever so slightly on them. We've gone purple in the first sector as well, as we're right on the back then of Coulthard in that Red Bull, which obviously wasn't as quick as it is now, as we're going to be getting off there, just about holding it on there. We're not going into the gravel, but the slipstream will be very nice indeed. And are we going to make a move before turn 1 here of Copse? That was my talking point. We decided to stay behind him for the time being, but we're going to be now coming on towards Maggotts and Beckett's we go. Or we're going to try and get a move nicely done here on Coulthard. We're right on the back of him now. We've already pulled a gap to Kovalainen, so we don't have to worry about Kovalainen anytime soon. But we get a beautiful exit out of Maggotts and Beckett's complex. Onto the hangar straight we go. We're going to get a beautiful run on Coulthard. We're going to take the inside line into Stowe, as we're going to be trying to get past up to P5 when we do so beautifully. And a great run this. A great second stint from us on these option tyres. Next up is Sebastian Vettel, who is only just up the road there. So maybe, just maybe, P4 is on the cards, but it's going to be a tough task with the tyres falling off as well. But we set a 33.9. We've got 2.1 seconds to catch up on Vettel. That's going to be the question, and I don't think we will have time. We're in optimal fuel as well, so we need to go down to standard mix mode 2 just to try and get us to the end of the race. Is another thing coming, as we just go a bit wide there on exit, and that was the curtain call for us to maybe just conserve the tyres and bring the car home. But with that, we've got to hold off David Coulthard as well. That's going to be another thing to worry about in this last 2 laps of the race. It's only half a second ahead. We dropped the brake bias to neutral, as I felt pretty comfortable on the front brake bias then for the opening stint of the race, as we're going to be trying to hold off David Coulthard for the last few laps then. And I can safely say we do indeed hold him off, as you can see the gap now is over 2 seconds, and Vettel's only 1.5 seconds away. Just wish that if there was another lap, just another lap, we could have maybe got P4, but Hamilton will take the victory here in Silverstone and cement his championship contentions even more. But we're going to come home in an impressive 5th place, considering where we had a poor qualifying, and that will help us in the championship hunt for the end of the season, as we get a 33.9 fastest lap and 10 positions gained as well from 15th on the grid. I was very happy with that, actually, considering where we started in this race. And there is the official results then. Hamilton wins by 3.5 seconds from Massa, with Heidfeld in 4th, with Sebastian Vettel an impressive 4th place in the Toro Rosso, with us in 5th, Coulthard in 6th, Kovalainen in 7th, and Raikkonen down in 8th place, getting 1 point, which will be massive for the championship standings, where we have a look at them very shortly, with Fernando Alonso in 9th and Fisichella completing the top 10. So at least Fizzy fan gets a bit of happiness in his mind that Fisichella got a top 10 finish there. And our teammate in 12th place as well. So good to see Toyota did pretty well there from the poor qualify, and shows that we have got maybe a bit of race pace in us to maybe fight with the big boys going into the second half of the season, as we will be going to Germany next time round at Hockenheim, which will be a very interesting track. We'll have to wait and see, as there is the other half of the table just to show you where everyone finished. And we will now be looking at the Drivers' Championship after this round here at Silverstone for the British Grand Prix, and see what it means for the top 3 of myself, Kimi Raikkonen and Lewis Hamilton. Let's have a look at that driver's standings right now. And here are the standings then. Raikkonen's lead is now down to 6 points, with Lewis Hamilton now up to P2 with 44 points, 2 points ahead of ourselves of Ralf Schumacher, with Massa up to P4 as well to 31 points. So don't count him out in the championship, with Kovalainen also maybe a bit of a sniff of a chance of the championship in P5 with 27 points. Alonso is a point behind in 6th, with Kubica in 7th with 22 points, with Heidfeld in 8th with 18, with Coulthard with 13, and Sebastian Vettel moves to P10 with 12 points. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode of the 2007 career mode. Next time by is at Hockenheim in Germany, which will be quite an interesting race to do. Make sure to like the video, guys. If we hit 50 likes, I'll immediately upload that race for you guys to your entertainment. But make sure, guys, to like and subscribe for more F1 content on the channel. Until next time, guys, have a great day. I shall see you guys next time for another F1 video on this channel. Until then, have a good day, guys, and take care. See you later.